Hey guys, alright, so I wanted to make this video for all you new parents out there. Now you guys know that I'm an outdoorsman, sportsman, hunter. I like to be out in the woods, and my wife is pretty athletic, so we like to go out and do stuff on the trail. Recently we had a child, he's 6 months old, and we decided to start taking him on the trail. Now, before we even start, I'm just going to give you a couple precautions. Obviously check the weather, check the terrain. If there's any mosquito problem, make sure that you have the proper netting and proper equipment for your child. Obviously make sure you have know where you're going, have contact numbers of the ranger station and safety precautions and all that stuff. Now that being said, some of the things you're going to have to decide is who's carrying what. The biggest thing that we've done, and we're not complete experts on this, but babies are fine. They're very resilient. Most of the time they just fall asleep anyway. Our child's 6 months old, so he's not walking yet. So we haven't gotten to that stage. But if you have a child that's small, under 1 year old, that's not walking yet, you can still take him on a trail and enjoy nature and have a great time. There's no reason you can't. Don't put bug spray on him unless the pediatrician says so. DEET is a no-no. I think you have to wait up until 1 year, so make sure you have the mosquito netting. Sunblock as well, check with your pediatrician. We have a nice big floppy hat, and we usually tend to go in places that are a little bit cooler. If it's raining, obviously that's a no-no, or if it's slick, it's a no-no. You don't want to risk a fall injury, especially if you're carrying your child. And also, if it's too hot, don't take him out when it's 100-degree humidity. That's ridiculous. If it's too hot, turn around, go home, call it a day, and do it when it's safe. So, now that I got all the safety stuff out of the way, you're going to have to figure out who carries what. What we have decided to do, and I think is a good idea, it's a trade-off. Someone's going to have to carry the baby, and that's it. And then the other person's going to carry everything else. So, all the water for the family, all the food, all the equipment, the medical supplies, the navigation, the formula, the diapers, everything. Everything goes in that one pack. So you might have to upgrade your pack, such as I did. Any type of gear like rain gear or anything else you want to carry. Now, a day pack, or I want to say a day trek in the woods, probably around 4 hours, 6 hours max. I don't think anybody wants to carry that much weight for that long. Depending on your physical ability, carrying a baby around, I mean, women carry babies in their stomachs for 9 months, okay, so a couple-hour hike is not going to be that big. You want to enjoy nature, you want to show your son or daughter, out of the city life, and it's fantastic. We have a great time. If you got to feed them, feed them. Stop the hike, pull over to the side, walk over to the side, feed them, change them. Make sure you carry extra bags so you can put the dirty diapers in there and you don't need to put it next to your food. So you'll learn all this stuff as you go. So, upgrading bags. Alright, let me pull my bag over here and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so this is the Kelty Red Wing 50. It's a 50-liter pack. It's not a terrible pack. Most of them are made ideally for backpacking or trekking, and they have a big thing. I'm not a huge fan. I think they're okay. I'm coming from the military, so from a military standpoint, it's not really that great. Other than it's lightweight. It's super lightweight, which is great because you don't add any more weight. But the compartments or the compartmentalized stuff is very limited. It has like little pockets here and there, and then it has the side pieces and this, which is great. But in the main pack itself, it's just one big pocket. Now, most people, it's not a big deal. It doesn't bother them. What I find when I use this pack is I got the long pack, obviously, because I'm tall, so I needed something to support my weight, and it does support the weight pretty well, all the stuff that's got to go in there. But what I find on this pack is that all the sweat pulls down and pools right here near the lower lumbar support pad. And I don't know about you, but when you're out there in the woods and you're hiking and you're sweating, all that lower body sweat sits right here on your lower lumbar, and then you get like a sweaty ass, and then the whole bottom of, or the whole top of your ass cheeks are swampy, disgusting, and then you start getting abrasions and rashes. That's the only thing I don't like about this pack. Other military packs, I guess they designed it a little bit differently, or whatever the case is, and that has to do with a lot of just one big old pack. Now, if you can compartmentalize this and add more weight up top, it's not one big gunny sack all the way down at the bottom and the weight's just constantly sitting on your lower lumbar, okay? But that being said, that's my own personal preference. It's a pretty decent pack. It's not a pack review that I'm doing here, just giving you a heads up that if you are gonna have to carry a lot more weight than it was just you yourself. The other thing I want to introduce, this is something that I haven't really tried yet, but what it is a front pack. It's just a small little pouch that you put over your shoulders, and you can put it in the front. And you could put your keys or water bottles or navigation stuff in there. I know they sell them with the water bottles on the side. I don't like that. You could also put your firearm in there, obviously, because if you're going to use the waist pouch, sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the neck to have that on your waist, a firearm on your waist while you're trying to trek. So this is actually a pretty decent piece of kit. I haven't tried it yet, but I heard people really, really like it. All right, the next thing is the actual baby pack, or the satchel, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. This one is made by Ergo Baby. It's pretty decent, as you can see right there. It goes over the front, or the baby sits here in the front, and these go around the back, and you cinch it to whoever is carrying the kid. Now, I think if you read the directions, there's an age limit to where you can flip them around to the back, so you know. But kids, when they're very young, especially under 1 year old, they're very comfortable being close to the body. That's why they always want to be held. It's a comfort zone for them, and let's face it, we love to hold our kids. But it gives them a feeling of being in the womb, being close, that kind of thing. I know a trek that we just did, me and the missus, we went up to the mountains, and he fell asleep pretty much most of the time until he was hungry. That was it. So it was good stuff. It has a pouch over here, a couple pouches up front, so if you want to clip stuff or you want to put something in there. And he just kind of sits in this little pocket that's created, and his legs fit out the side, that kind of thing. And this is a hood if you want to put the hood over his head in case it's raining or anything like that. So pretty decent. They sell a bunch of these online. I'm not familiar with all the brands and everything, but this one was given to us as a gift, and it turns out it's really, really good. Many adjustments and comfortability. Okay. Also, what I wanted to note was that if you are going on a trek as well, I don't know what the height specification is for a child. Most of the mountains that I climb are no more than 3,000 feet above sea level, which is completely safe for anybody of any age. It's not until you get to the 10,000 feet above sea level that you start getting issues with people that are either out of weight, out of shape, heart problems, pulmonary edema, that type of stuff. It's altitude sickness essentially, and if you're under 10,000 feet, you're more than fine. So don't worry about that. Okay, so pretty good piece of kit. Another thing that we like to take, obviously, is the changing pad. This is just a straight old changing pad. Now, you don't need to take a changing pad. It's just another piece of kit, but you can use a shema or a towel or whatever, and yeah, you could put them on a log or whatever and change them. You could put them in your lap and change them. It's not a big deal, but we have it, so we take it. It's a little bit more waterproof than most things. Change of clothes, like I said, we got a big floppy hat. This is essential. Big floppy hat for sun protection. All right, ideally something nice and light, make him very comfortable. It's more important that his skin is covered than it's not, or I keep saying him because I have a boy, but if you have a girl, you understand. Diapers, wipes, and hand sanitizer. Also make sure you take an extra bag for the dirty diapers. Again, I don't think you want his poop anywhere near your food items. We take about three bottles of water. This is kind of how we prepare it. This is the Dr. Brown's bottles. And we fill up the exact amount of water to formula ratio. So he's at 6 ounces now. Normally you only need 2, but we take 1 just in case, and we keep it separate from our own water. We don't want to give him our bacteria, so what we have is a water, we get water delivered. It's supposed to be better. It's not as harsh as the city chlorinated water on his teeth and everything else, so we give him bottled water and we drink the city water. You don't want to kind of mix. That's really what we felt is better. This is sunscreen for babies, Baby Ganix. Okay, pretty good stuff. Like I said, check with your pediatrician. And this is Baby Ganix Natural Insect Repellent. Again, check with your pediatrician. There's no DEET in here. See, it says DEET free. DEET is really good stuff, but it's not for babies. You don't want to get that into your baby. It's not good. And then we mix, or have the dry mix ready available for you know, to make his bottle. So we kind of make his bottle on the trail. If you make the bottle with the water and you keep it in your pack, chances are the milk can spoil. So we don't want to do that. We want to prolong it. If anybody knows, baby formula is extremely expensive. You know, we have a couple of the pieces to put the bottle together, and of course a wipey rag or anything like that. So as far as the baby's concerned, that whole section right there, including the changing table and the carrying piece, is all for him. And we didn't even get to our stuff. So as you can see, it starts to add a lot of weight. Now for me, I usually carry a Camelback. This is my Camelback for water. It's a 3 liter or 100 ounce for me. But I'm also carrying my wife's water. So depending on how far we're going, I like these. These are the larger canteens. Nalgene Clean Canteen. It's the 48 ounce. I think 48 ounces of water is probably about perfect for her. But also understand that she is carrying a child. So she's going to be sweating or whatever. Now when I say she, this is kind of how we sorted it out, because she usually winds up carrying the baby and I usually wind up carrying the gear. The gear is going to be a lot heavier. The only difference is that the baby on her will be in the front and my gear will be in the back. So because we're not pack mules and we're reasonable human beings, we decided that's the best way to do it. If you guys want to switch, if you think the man should carry the baby and the woman should carry the pack, whatever, that's fine. If you think that we're carrying too much stuff, that's fine. Carry as little or as much stuff as you want until your heart is content. I don't care. If that's the way you want to go out into the woods, should something bad happen to you, don't say I didn't tell you so. Okay. As far as a couple other things here, just safety precautions. Bear spray is a must. I usually try to keep the bear spray with my wife. You can actually clip it onto the little baby harness. It's got a safety on it. It glows in the dark. I'm going to be carrying a firearm. This is my Glock 20 and I have a spare magazine. Glock 20 has 15 plus 1 rounds. It's the full size. It's a big gun. It's not easy to carry. It's not comfortable to carry. With large animals or even two-legged animals, I'd rather be armed than not armed. Okay? Carry whatever gun you want if you can. If it's legal to do so, carry a firearm if you can. I always carry a metal canteen, a nesting cup. This is a Toaks skate bivy, obviously for emergencies. This is the breathable skate bivy. If something does happen, someone breaks an ankle, someone gets hurt, it's in big and orange. Whatever the case, I want to have something for shelter in case somebody gets hurt. Inside here is my little toiletry kit. I'm not going to open it, but I have aspirin for myself, or Tylenol, Imodium, wet wipes in case you have to go to the bathroom. They are biodegradable. Hand sanitizer, sunscreen for humans, and of course bug spray for sunscreen for adults, and mosquito repellent for adults. That does have DEET in it, obviously not for the child, but for you. Some type of water filter. This is the Cadian water filter. I do have smaller ones. I know a lot of people are big fans of the small ones from Life Straw. I had those. They're great. I have no problem. Carry what you feel comfortable with. Extra bags. Right here is a large black garbage bag, 1 or 2, great, and then a couple extra bags. I find that on the trail, when you're eating your food, what usually winds up happening is you kind of, have this garbage and you don't know where to put it. That's why I always carry extra bags, also good for survival. Some Cliff Bars. We usually take like 3 or 4 sandwiches of PB&J on the trail. It's great. You make it the day before. It won't spoil. If it's really hot out, stay away from milk products, obviously, but hey. Shema, I carry 2. One I like to keep with my wife, even though she decides she doesn't like it or she doesn't want to wear it. You can even wrap your baby up with this and use it like a, I forget what they call it, like carousel or whatever, but I've seen people from Africa do it. They have these large blankets and they bundle their baby up and just throw them on, tie it up somehow, so that's pretty good. Hat, these are rain jackets, his and her rain jackets in here, which is great. Walking sticks, I find are pretty paramount. One of the things I will tell you with walking sticks is, especially in bad terrain or whatever, they work, but you have to learn how to use them. The problem I find with most people is they clutch to their baby when they're walking in the trail. They have one hand on the baby and one hand on the stick. This is normally a parent reaction. I get it. First thing is you hold, but ideally what you want is your hands free and the baby attached to your chest or your back. Because if you fall, you want your hands out forward to protect your baby from hitting the ground. So you want your hands free. Depending on where you live or where you're trekking, that's going to decide if you need the poles or not, but it's always a good option to have in any situation. Okay. Some other small items. I have a headlamp, batteries, a little bit of duct tape, a whistle, this is a tiny flashlight, fire starting kit. My fire starting kit is very simple. I have a lighter. These are the combustible cubes. I forget the name of them. And I think this is a 3 or 4 inch fire rod. That's a 1/2 inch. All right, fire steel. That's it. The only reason I even carry this is because if we ever get stuck somewhere and we need to make a fire, I'm not rubbing 2 sticks together. I have 2 options in here to make fire. These cubes are extremely flammable, and all you need is a spark. I can get a fire going in a hurry, and I don't have to worry about it. The fire steel is just a backup in case this doesn't work. All right. The medical kit, I don't have any baby medical kit stuff in here. This is mostly for adults. Sprained ankles, any type of cuts, wounds, and that type of stuff, it's in here. There's very few things that you can't use here that you wouldn't be able to use on an infant. Obviously size is a difference, because they're smaller, but that's about it. All right, you can use a lot of stuff in there. I always carry my Spot Gen 3. Make sure you check the batteries on these. They take the lithium batteries, not regular AAA, whatever. So lithium batteries are a little bit more expensive, but it's worth having. So I always have my Spot, and you do have to sign up for the annual. I think the annual is like $100 a year or whatever for the tracking. So if we ever really get into a really bad situation, I have my Spot device to help me out. Cell phone, it has GPS on it. I never go that far out unless I'm in a solo trek that my cell phone doesn't have GPS on it. I do have a really nice expensive Garmin GPS, but I tend not to use it because this GPS on here works pretty good with Google Earth. I carry the cord for the power, and I have a spare battery. This is an Anker battery. This Anker battery can pretty much charge up a laptop if I needed to, so it works pretty good. My maps, This is my map case. I have writing material, my maps, Write in the Rain. I have 2 compasses in here, both Suunto. One's a good Suunto with a mirror, has a mirror, a whistle, all that kind of stuff, and then the other one's just a wrist compass, also made by Suunto. So I have my map gear ready to go. These 2 lights are, I think these are 12-inch yellows, chem lights. They work pretty good. I tested them. You can tie them up if you need to signal somebody. You can also use lanyard or 550 cord. Speaking of which, I do have 550 cord on this table. I think it got buried, but I always carry cord. Oh, there it is. I always carry a hank of cordage with me just in case I need it. And last and not least is some type of multi-tool. Okay, so this happens to be the Leatherman Surge. It's the Big Daddy. It's a little bit heavier than most, but if it's in my pack, I really don't mind it. It's an excellent multi-tool to have. Now, that being said, this is a lot of stuff. This is heavy. It's not light. This is all the stuff I have to carry. I don't much want to carry my son, to be honest with you, but being bigger, stronger than most other females, if you want to take your kid on a trek, this is what you're going to have to contend with. A lot of people will do away with most of this stuff. I'm not most people. I like to know that if I go out into the woods with my family and something bad happens, I have more than enough supplies to keep us going. All right. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'll roll some pictures if I can find them about us on the trail with our son, and then it's a great thing to be outdoors with your family. Trust me, it's get away from the city, enjoy the National Park Service is outstanding. They always have trail hikes. If you go on the website and Google it, you can find groups of people that do trail hikes, and they love this stuff. So that's pretty much it. If you guys are interested, go up to 3riverblades.com, check out all the knives that I have up there. They're all handmade by myself, and they're all top quality. So thanks very much, guys. Talk to you soon.